Netflix is about to get Markle. Harry and Meghan's horror-mentary has a huge credibility crisis and it hasn't been premiered yet. There are rumors of emergency meetings about how are they gonna fix the content after the public fallout of people realizing that they are using stock photography and videos in the trailers. I mean, if the trailers, which should be a condensed version of the final product, already have generic photos and videos, then imagine when you are faced with the 6 one-hour episodes. But you might be asking, what is the problem with using generic stock footage in a documentary? It is used all the time, right? Well, not in this case, as you're about to find out. Welcome back, my Body Language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Body Language guy, and I'm gonna give you an analogy to better understand what is going on with this. Imagine that you're making a documentary about an athlete. His struggles, his race to stardom, etc. And maybe I got this comment on my Twitter account. Maybe at some point you need to picture one trip that he made to other country, and there's no footage of that trip. Okay, there's no way to include any footage because there is not. It does not exist. But the trip was made, so the best thing to do is to include some kind of a stock video of a plane taking off, etc., to picture that. Now, why it makes sense to include that kind of videos, of stock videos, generic videos in documentaries? Because they are not directly related to the protagonist's struggles, to the protagonist's story. For example, if you're gonna say, well, this athlete won the competition in 1997, such and such, and you, at that point, put the footage of another competition of another athlete and never show what was going actually with the protagonist of the documentary. Now, that would be a problem because you will be using footage that is directly related to the story of the person, of the protagonist, of the struggle of the protagonist, instead of, well, showing actual footage of the person. So that's that is happening with Harry and Meghan and their documentary. They want to show like they have been harassed, they have been oppressed, they have been attacked by the media, by the public, by everyone, by the royal family, but they don't have anything to back up their claims. And I remind you that you might say, oh, but there are all those racist headlines and such and such. But remember that for the Oprah interview, ITV removed inaccurate and misleading headlines from that show. Because it was a show, it was not real. It was 17 documented lies, and they even doctored headlines to make it seem that, well, Meghan was effectively rudely attacked by the British media. I'm not gonna say that the British media are angels or anything. You know how harsh the tabloids can be. But if that's the case, why did you have to doctor those headlines? That just hurts your credibility. You just, well, come out as a liar. So notice the patterns that we are seeing in this, only in the trailers. Second trailer fail, those paparazzis right after the Harry and Meghan distress shot, I was terrified, I didn't want history to repeat itself, are from a Katie Price photo shoot. Okay, you have this footage first, which I will explain in a minute, and right after that, you cut to some paparazzis following Katie Price. Okay, why didn't you include paparazzis like following you or harassing you? Because there must be somewhere, right? If there are a bunch of paparazzis like over you, some of their frames, some of their camera are going to get all the other paparazzis. Like when you see Diana with that huge amount of photographers around her, you see the huge amount of photographers. And then, as in the athlete example, you're beginning to understand how this hurts the credibility of the Harkles story. Because if at some point you tell me in your documentary that Harry and Meghan went to eat sushi in New York, I don't know, then it will be okay to just picture a stock video of a sushi restaurant in New York, because it is not instrumental or directly related to their struggle with the media and the British press. Because they are trying to make a point about that media harassment. But we have this second trailer fail. The paparazzi's shot used in both trailers has nothing to do with Harry and Meghan. It has nothing to do with the royals. It's Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, leaves for prison term. Cheap grifters. This is something that is laughable at first. But Netflix knows that is big trouble. Why is this big trouble? You know that people are very keen to reality these days. Even The Crown, you know that is a lot of fiction, is based on real events, and that's something that we like. We like this based on real events because we like to think that we're seeing what's real actually happened. It's not just fiction. And we know that fiction can be good, can be done right, but nothing beats. It's like true crime. True crime documentary is something that grips you because you are listening, you are reliving a story of someone that went through all this, struggle, real things, and you get to connect with those emotions, especially because you have this idea that is real. So, but real life and whatever is based on real events attracts subscribers, and Netflix does this, and that's why they sign up these two morons to create this 100 million mammoth of nothing. How can you justify that you're making the trailer the single most important piece of marketing for any show of any kind, and the person who made the editing just searched for Harry paparazzis and came up with this picture? And this picture, Harry paparazzis, that appear on the Harry and Meghan Netflix official teaser, is just a bunch of paparazzis that went to a Harry Potter premiere. Harry Potter, the movie. The only ginger here is Ron Weasley. And this is something that we can't overlook. You know how controlling is Meghan of everything. She wants to control every single piece of content from beginning to end. And that's why she didn't want to record anything at her home or make any kind of reality, fly on the wall reality show, because she would not have complete control of every situation. So every single photo and video used in these trailers, you can imagine, of course, that Meghan green-lighted it. Do you like it? Yes? Well, we go with this. We're gonna go with this because this is your project. That makes sense, right? The documentary is Harry and Meghan. You can imagine that Meghan green-lighted this. Every single second of this. Now, and this is also allegedly, she's furious to whatever is happening behind closed doors, really behind closed doors at Netflix, because how could all this fallout happen? How could they use this footage? Well, you approved that. You approved that, and you notice that the actual paparazzis, the real paparazzis that harass, attack, that yell at you on the street, none of that is in the trailer. How come? How is that possible? Well, there is one reason there is no footage of any paparazzis pursuing Meghan and Harry. And that reason is better described by these two pictures. These are the only two pictures that they include in some kind of attitude being pursued by paparazzis, but they were not pursued at all. At all. They were greeting their fans in there. They just included 1 or 2 seconds of they walking a bit faster than usual. So it seemed like they were escaping from something, but it's easy to see that they were smiling, laughing, were greeting everyone. They were happy. Meghan had what she wanted. Attention. And the only two pictures where we see some kind of emotion are totally staged. We have perfect lighting, we have perfect depth of field, focus, the camera, the framing, everything. This is all set up. This is acting. This part is not genuine at all. And what is even more concerning, what is even more hypercritical, cynical, I don't know how to call this, is that the only real paparazzi attacks, harassment, everything is from Diana. Of course, they have to play the Princess of Hearts card and from Catherine, which, well, oddly enough and not surprising, they make absolutely sure of not showing their face because they cannot stand to realize that there is tons of footage of paparazzis harassing Catherine. We got hours of that. We got years of that. Meghan never suffered that, and that's why there's no footage that they could include in that Netflix trailer. And you can then wonder if they're gonna talk about the harassment and the headlines have been doctored and there's no footage of said harassment and whatever happened at Buckingham Palace is hearsay, then what is the content of the documentary? How do you support that? Don't you find it interesting that they claim that in the docuseries these friends are gonna talk in their behalf, and in the trailers we got their attorney and Christopher Bowsey, employees? Okay, do they work for you? Yes, all right. Or they are gonna talk well about you. They're gonna praise you in many ways that is, well, not credible at all. So that's why I tweeted today, my sources at Netflix confirmed that the stock photos fiasco in the Harkles trailers has triggered emergency meetings to address whichever images and clips have been used in the final product. The Montecito screams are real. This is a shitstorm of epic proportions. These people at Netflix are realizing that they never expected the level of scrutiny to whatever Meghan and Harry were and were doing. It's like Oprah. She did not do her due diligence with Meghan. And Netflix is about to pay the same, but handsomely, big time, with $100 million on the line. Tell me if this is not one of the greatest blunders ever in terms of business. Because it's not only that Meghan and Harry's horror-mentary is gonna flop. It will hurt the credibility of everything else that Netflix does. And especially for how relevant it is gonna be. Relevant in terms of attention, headlines they're gonna bring. Everyone is talking. We are 48 hours away from the premiere, and people are saying, what are they showing in the trailers? You should be showing the very best footage you got about that harassment, and you got nothing. What you got? Diana and Catherine, and that's all that you can do to try to, I don't know, by osmosis, have that kind of feelings or situations, circumstances, which never happen. I can imagine that if you're watching my channel, you are not interested in watching Harry and Meghan's horror-mentary. That's obvious, right? And you might understand that I will watch it no matter what. Well, at the same time, I'm thinking of organizing a watch party, a private watch party, to not get into any copyright trouble, with every single member of my locals community right here. So if you want to join me in this gut-wrenching watch party, for at least to suffer together, then join my locals community, and you'll find the link in the description of this video. You join my locals community, you can also support me on my locals community, and well, we organize a watch party and see where the rabbit hole leads us. My body language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and until we meet in another video or another live, much love and bliss.